Now, we've talked about censorship on this show. We've talked about how the establishment system wants to dictate and control all of us. Now, I don't really tolerate that kind of stuff. I despise many of these politicians who want to dictate over us and start controlling how we speak, who we can listen to. And this is where we bring up Turtle Boy Mitch McConnell. U.S. Senate Republican leader blames Tucker Carlson for delaying the Ukraine cash. That's right. It's all Tucker Carlson's fault because Ukraine didn't get the money yet. But yet, of course, our politicians did vote for said money. Tell me, folks, how is this Tucker Carlson's fault? Top-ranking Republican in the U.S. Senate, Turtle Boy Mitch McConnell, has claimed Tucker Carlson's interview with Russian President Vladimir Putin convinced too many rank-and-file Republicans that spending billions of taxpayer dollars on arming Kiev against Moscow was harming Americans and wrecking the economy. But it is. Truly, it is. As a new multi-billion-dollar U.S. aid package to Ukraine was clearing the last procedural hurdles on Tuesday, Senate Minority Leader McConnell attempted to pin the blame for months of delays on former Fox News anchor Tucker Carlson and former President Donald Trump, because it's Trump's fault, it's Carlson's fault that, there were many voters calling up their politicians, and in turn, many politicians as well, who wanted to maybe put a pause to this aid to Ukraine, these billions upon billions of dollars. Now, of course, hey, we're holding our breath because no matter what, the military-industrial complex has to chug along. Ukraine was always going to get its money, but something tells me you could be spending all the money in the world, but you can't bring back the dead. If that hits too close to home, too bad. So many people have died in that pointless war already and still are dying. And congratulations, especially to the vote blue no matter who voters, or you said the diehard red voters. Your politicians do not care for you. He goes on to write or state, I think the demonization of Ukraine began by Tucker Carlson, who in my opinion ended up where he should have been all along, which was interviewing Vladimir Putin. Many other people and anchors have interviewed Vladimir Putin. And by the way, look, nothing against Tucker Carlson, but it was like any other interview with any other leader. The only thing is right now is because of the aftermath of 2016, Hill Dog and the Democrats had to go on their warpath and say, here's why we lost. It's because of Bernie bros. It's because of misogyny and sexism and bigotry and the Russians and Putin and Trump's mean. Thank you, Democrats, especially the vote blue no matter who people, for getting us into this mindset that all of a sudden a country is responsible for destroying our elections. But yet, I think maybe the lens should be focused on another country like Israel and AIPAC, where they actually bought our politicians. I don't see a Russian lobby group here. But anyways, we must continue on. We must continue on. And then our nominee for president didn't seem to want us to do anything at all. That took months to work our way through it. Oh, you had to work, McConnell? You and your fantastic freaking friends? You had to work? You had to work? Yeah, I don't care about it. Carlson, in a lengthy interview with Putin in February, by the way, that interview took place in February. First by Western reporters since the conflict with Ukraine began, the pair discussed the ongoing hostilities in Moscow's standoff with NATO. The exchange went viral globally, garnering over 200 million views on X, formerly known as Twitter. I'm tired of articles writing this. Alone, yet critics accused Carlson of not being confrontational enough with the Russian leader. I think he did an okay job. Whatever. The American journalist argued that most Western media outlets lied to their audience, mainly by omission, and that the point of his interview was to have more information brought to the West so people could make their own decisions. Now, we covered some highlights of that interview, as did many other people in independent media, Due Dissidents, Jimmy Dore, RBN. And at the end of the day, folks, even after this show, let me just remove this article. Even after this show, I expect all of you to do your due diligence, and to do your own research and come up with your own decisions. Don't just listen to me. All of you have to be well-rounded in your own right by looking at other sources of information and make your own decisions, as you should. That's what I expect out of my audience. Don't take anything here on any show or any platform as the gospel. Be a free thinker and look at other sources too, so you become more well-rounded, as you should be. I reject the whole premise of the war in Ukraine from the American perspective, Carlson said in February. Looking back at his conversation with Putin, there's a war going on that is wrecking the U.S. economy in a way and at a scale that people do not understand. Yes, because we're wasting billions of dollars. U.S. President Joe Biden requested additional cash for Ukraine last October after burning through $113 billion in previously approved spending bills. $113 billion! Hey, spend all the money you want. The dead cannot rise up. However, the request had been stalled until this week due to opposition from Republican lawmakers who argued that Biden was merely prolonging Kiev's conflict with Russia while offering no clear strategy for victory or peace agreement. Most Republicans voted against the aid bill on Saturday, but House Speaker Mike Johnson overrode his own party by enabling a vote and pushing it through with unanimous. I hope you're sitting down for this. Hold on. Wait a minute. Democrat support. Oh, you don't believe me? Here, look. Here, let's zoom in closer. Unanimous Democrat support.
But Kit, I thought the Democratic Party was anti-war. But Kit, according to my friends that I go to brunch with, they say that the Democrats care about social issues and a strong economy.
No, they don't. Oh, no. You sweet summer children, no, they don't. They don't like you. They don't think about you, and they don't respect you. But hey, here's what Turtle Boy had to say. Turtle Boy, hey, speak to the people. How do you really feel about Tucker Carlson?
You've been probably one of the most ardent backers of Ukraine in the Senate here, but what took so long to get some of these other 8 Republicans persuaded to your position here? Was it the overall nature of this bill and what was lost in that time period for Ukraine?
Well, that's a good question. You already know the answer. I think the demonization of Ukraine began by Tucker Carlson, who, in my opinion, ended up where he should have been all.
Ugh. Hey, McConnell, you going to freeze up again like you've done before? What is this old clown doing in power? Oh, that's right. He was paid and propped up there to be a vote for the establishment.
Along, which is interviewing Vladimir Putin. And so he had an enormous audience, which convinced a lot of rank and file Republicans that maybe this was a mistake. I think.
I'm so old, my blood is coagulated. I'm so old that I remember back in the 1900s, you couldn't do certain things here. Why are things so different now? I'm so old. Please insert disc to continue on. Such an embarrassment. The United States Congress, the Senate and House, the largest geriatric home ever. Oh, and by the way, hey, see, you went from bartender to nurse from bartender to politician to now, hey, elderly caretaker. God, the Capitol building must really smell. Now I feel sorry for the January 6 people who went in there. They probably smelled a lot of that old Depends kind of smell in there, you know. Probably they did.
The former president had sort of mixed views on it. We all felt that the border was a complete disaster, myself included. And Chad, you remember covering the phases we went through. First, there was an effort to make law, which requires you to deal with Democrats. And then a number of our members thought it wasn't good enough. And then our nominee for president didn't seem to want us to do anything at all. That took months.
Help! I'm old and I don't know where I'm at.
To work our way through it. So we ended up doing the supplemental that was originally proposed, which dealt with not all problems. It didn't solve the border problem, but certainly addressed the growing threats at the moment.
Yes, exactly. But hold on. Here's because obviously the aid to Ukraine went through. Here's Turtle Boy Mitch McConnell talking about the 95.3 billion aid to Israel, Ukraine, and Taiwan. That's right, folks. Hey, to my fellow 50 states, from Alaska to Hawaii, California, New York, Texas, to Minnesota, Illinois, and Indiana, and all the other states as well. We got 3 brand new brothers and sisters. We got the great state of Israel, the great state of second and 53rd states of these United States of America. Oh, wait, they're not? They're not part of our union? Why are they getting billions of aid? Where's that money going? To defense contractors? Oh, yeah.
Today, the Senate sits for a test.
A test because we're all just want to have our lunch.
On behalf of the entire nation. It's a test of American resolve, our readiness, and our willingness to lead. And the stakes of failure are abundantly clear. Failure to help Ukraine stand against Russian aggression now means inviting escalation against our closest treaty allies and trading partners.
Because we got to go to war. And it's Tucker Carlson's fault that this package didn't go through. Tucker Carlson, who has a very successful channel on X, all right? Teach their own, right? But it's his fault. Somehow, what happened out of the blue, what happened was this. Tucker Carlson got out of his bed, looked out his window and said, gee, I wonder, how am I going to disrupt Congress? No, that's not what's happened. Okay? First of all, it's called asking questions. And it's not Tucker Carlson who's doing it. It's everybody. Jimmy Dore, Hard Lens Media, Due Distance, Indie Left, and everyone else in my freaking audience. Everyone's asking questions. Why is Ukraine getting billions upon billions of dollars in aid? Why is this war still ongoing? How come there isn't diplomatic peace talks? What is the purpose of this? Why have so many people died? And yet somehow, Tucker Carlson's fault. Woogie boogie boogie. Or it's Donald Trump's fault. Woogie boogie boogie. It's the orange man's fault. As I said before, I'm going to keep on bringing this up. Hey, listen, spend all that money as much as you want. The people who die in the front line between Russia and Ukraine, the dead cannot come back. We cannot raise the dead. The dead cannot walk. We're being ruled over by sociopaths, people.
It means greater risk that American forces would become involved in conflict. It means more costly deployments of our military and steeper military requirements to defend against aggression.
By the way, I hope you heard that right. I hope all of you did hear that. And that was this man just said, if we don't give the aid to Ukraine, U.S. forces might be deployed. The sequel we all been waiting for, World War III. Here, let's rewind that again.
Steeper military requirements to defend against aggression.
Gotta love these politicians, right? But hold on. Gets a little bit better. Just want to pull up this random video from good old Lindsey Graham cracker. Shout out to Hotspot. Doing some great stuff. Here's Lindsey Graham cracker. Go ahead, take it away.
The agenda of Hamas is not to make the Palestinian people more prosperous, it's to destroy the Jewish state from the river to the sea. These people are religious Nazis. What do you expect Israel to do? October the 7th was an attack not to restore the dignity of the Palestinian people, but literally to rape and murder and kill the Jews. Isolationism allows that to go unchecked. America First says, let's help Israel. Let's help Ukraine. Let's turn it into a loan rather than a grant. Let's get Europe to do more and pay more. That's the big difference to me. To the people in this body, if you don't help Israel now, you're sending the worst possible signal to the Ayatollah. If you believe as I do, he wishes to destroy the Jewish state, how can you vote no?
Don't you like it? They're just dragging us into war with this freaking bill that was passed. And how do I feel about this bill? How do I emotionally feel about something that I just despise? Well, I gotta tell you, I'm gonna let this person speak for me. How do I feel about this bill? How do I feel about people blaming Tucker Carlson and everyone else in independent media because we want to stop these ridiculous regime change wars, all these billions upon billions of dollars of quote unquote military aid, when in fact all it is, it's going to the into the hip back pockets of all these corrupt politicians. How do I feel about this bill? Take it away.
Absolutely oppose every bit of it.
Thank you. One more time.
Face of all of that, and that's why I absolutely oppose every bit of it.
Say it again one more time.
In the face of all of that, and that's why I absolutely oppose every bit of it.
Thank you. Every bit of it, indeed. Every bit of it, indeed. But somehow it's Tucker Carlson's fault. See, look, I have my differences of opinion with Tucker Carlson, but I do respect the fact that he is, asking questions, doing interviews, I mean, that's show running 101. That interview took place in February. But by the way, there's been a growing anti-war movement here in this country. The Democrats and Republicans see it. But know this, that bill that passed in the House, it only did so because of the help of Democrats promoting it. So no matter what was going to happen, Ukraine was going to get its bill for it. Israel was going to get its bill. Taiwan, but nothing for you, the American people. But somehow, though, Tucker Carlson asking questions, Tucker Carlson speaking out is somehow a threat to American security. See, this is what I mean, that there's going to be a danger on social media, absolute censorship, unchecked censorship. If you're not concerned about how this is all going to play out, you should be.